Hi, welcome. This video is going to be about how do we find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. And the inverse we're going to use later on to help us solve equations or systems of equations. And so here we would write the inverse of A. First of all, we would write the inverse of A like this. A that little minus one there, and so that's read as the inverse of A, and that's when you see that, then A to the minus one, you'll know that's what it means. The first thing we want to do is what's called the determinant. So the determinant of A is this. It's first of all, let's define A in just kind of general terms. Any inverse, and I'm calling it A, but it could be any inverse. The elements, we'll use little a to differentiate that from the big A over here. A, B, C, and D. So going across A, B, and then down at the bottom C, D. And so the determinant of that A is the value of 1 over, and then we've got A times D, A times D, minus B times C, B, C. And that is the determinant. And so to get the inverse, we would take that 1 over AD minus BC, and we would multiply that by our matrix, but with these changes. We would take A and B A and D and switch them, and then we would put the minus sign in front of B and a minus sign in front of C, and then we would multiply that by this. So what that looks like, we've got D then up here and A down here, and we have negative B and negative C. And once we do that, that will give us the inverse of A. So let's see what that looks like in this example. We're going to take 5 times 4, and we're going to subtract 3 times 5, or 5 times 3. So this minus this, right? Now, 5 times 4 is 20, minus 5 times 3, 15, and so then we have 5. And now the part that we have then out here in front would be 1/5. I can multiply through by 1/5, but remember, you can multiply by a number or divide by its reciprocal, or vice versa. Divide by a number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So instead of thinking of this as dividing or multiplying all of those by 1/5, you can also think of it as all of these elements inside being divided by 5. You can do it that way too. So now here, my 5 and my 4 are going to switch places. I'm going to put the 4 up here and the 5 down here. Then the 3 stays where it's at, but it becomes negative 3. And then 5 becomes negative 5. And then we're going to go through and multiply these all out. So 1/5 times 4 would be 4/5. Like I said, that's the same as 4 divided by 5. So 4/5. And then negative 3 divided by 5, that's negative 3/5. And then negative 5 divided by 5, that'd be negative 1. And then finally 5 divided by 5, or 5 times 1/5, would also be 1. And so that would be our inverse of A. 4/5, negative 3/5, negative 1, and 1. Okay,